Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So if you notice, there's a bit of a different backdrop here. So unfortunately, winter break, very unfortunately, winter break is over, and I moved to this little apartment about 4 or 5 months ago when I started grad school, and I had been filming in front of that bookshelf. Maybe it looked big on camera, but it's like 3 feet tall. But unfortunately, I forgot my tripod, so for the next few months, we're just gonna have to deal with me setting the camera on my windowsill. But the upside is I guess you guys get to creep on the entirety that is my one-room apartment. So this is a bit of a rare but fun video for me to film because I think you guys have probably noticed I don't tend to collect a ton of books, and I didn't even ask for any books for Christmas and I didn't receive any just because I didn't feel like I needed any, but I happened to come across so many wonderful sales and there were so many books I'd been wanting to go ahead and check out that I know aren't at the library that's very easily accessible to me here. So I went a little nuts. I mean, nuts for me is 14 books, which is how much I think I have here, but let's go ahead and get into it. So the first two I don't have physically to show here, but first is Eileen. I got this off of my seemingly probably like 5th or 10th free trial run on Audible, but I actually already listened to this and a review of that will hopefully be my next video. Then, as you guys know, I adored You by Carolyn Kepnes. That was my second favorite book of last year. I'm very excited because the book doesn't actually come out, I think, until sometime in February, but I have a copy of the sequel, Hidden Bodies, on its way to me, so I don't have that to show you, but I can't wait to go ahead and review that. So now we'll get into the giant, I can't even list it, the giant box of books that I have here. First, I'll show the one that was actually a gift to me, and this isn't a book, but for Christmas, one of my friends got me the Outlander coloring book. I'm sure you guys have seen these before. Adult coloring books, I think, were one of the biggest things that blew up during Christmas times for people to check out. I was curious if that scene in the last episode would be in here. It's not, thankfully. That would have been awkward to color. As I said, these books are from a myriad of different sales and everything like that, so we'll go ahead and get into it. So first we have Faithful Place by Tana French. This is the third book in the Dublin Murder Squad series. You guys know The Likeness was one of my favorite books of last year. This is the third book and I got it for $3 at my local library back home, and it's brand new. I don't think it's even ever been opened before. It is told from the perspective of Frank Mackey, who is unfortunately not one of my favorite characters in the series, so for those of you who have read this, let me know what you thought about it. Then the next set of books I got from a place called Book Swap Cafe in Medford, I think Medford, New Jersey. I'll put their information for it down below. They have no idea I'm doing this, but it was one of my favorite used bookstores I have ever been in my entire life. The man who worked there was hilarious. He kind of reminded me of the grandpa in Little Miss Sunshine. But I think I got all 4 of these books for around $15. So first might be a bit of a controversial one, but that is God Is Not Great by Christopher Hitchens. I just adore listening to Christopher Hitchens talk. He did pass away, maybe 4 years ago. I am a raised Catholic, but I just really enjoy hearing different perspectives, so my mom's probably freaking out if she's watching this, but I just really like hearing different worldviews on religions and things like that, so excited to go ahead and get into this. This was a very big book within the last couple of years, but that is Let the Great World Spin by Colum McCann. This takes place in the 1970s in New York City, and it's told from a bunch of different perspectives. If you guys saw that recent movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he's walking across the 2 buildings on the type wire, that's sort of the backdrop, and then this is told from different perspectives while that is occurring. Then I picked up, I don't know what that is that's on it, but then I picked up Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is a memoir by Cheryl Strayed. It was turned into a movie with Reese Witherspoon when she's hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, I think it's called. I watched that movie when I was flying back from Spain, I think it was. Wasn't expecting much out of it, and I was floored and absolutely adored it. So if you've read this, let me know how it compares to the movie because I'm very excited to get into it. I need to stop saying that about every single book. Then we have A Swamplandia by Karen Russell. This is adult fiction, but it's told from the perspective of a 13-year-old girl. I was at the bookstore with one of my best friends who reads a ton, and she knows I love darker books with a dark sense of humor, and she said that I would adore this. It takes place in the Florida Everglades, and it just says her family is plunged into chaos, and she goes to a park called the World of Darkness, but it seems weird and out there and dark and right up my alley. Then this is not a book, but I just wanted to throw this in there because, as some of you probably saw who follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I went to one of the most famous bookstores in the world 2 Thursdays back, which is the Strand in New York City. I went on a day trip with my mom. It's been around since I think the 1920s, and it has new and used books. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't buy a single book there because they just weren't, they were cheap, but they weren't like ChapterStackss cheap, if you know what I mean. But I did pick up this, I don't know if it's gonna focus, but I did pick up this pencil case, which both sides are different, and it shows what I'm assuming the Strand looked like back when it was originally built. Okay, so all of the rest of the books that I have in here, I got from the book outlet. I'd always seen people raving about the book outlet, but I have to be honest, and I've seen the book outlet tweet this, I just assumed it was kind of too good to be true because the books are like $3, especially when they had their big New Year's sale. And then on top of that, I think it was $10 off when you spend $30. So I got, I think it's like 7 books here for around $30, I'm not sure. So the first one, I made a bit of a mistake when I was ordering this because The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt is a big book, don't get me wrong, it is big, but I may or may not have accidentally picked up the large print edition. So this is probably the worst book you could accidentally purchase in large print because it's already so big, but this is genuinely, I think it probably weighs 5 pounds, it's massive. I'm not gonna get into what this is about because it was such a huge book over, did it come out last year, I think? But I've never read anything by Donna Tartt, but I have heard from people who have read all of her works that this is their favorite for most people. So I'm not gonna be able to take this anywhere, but I will definitely be hopefully reading this in my room relatively soon. Then we have The Opposite of Loneliness by Marina Keegan. I think I had heard about this from Well Done Books, but it was very popular over the last couple of years. For those of you who don't know, and this isn't a spoiler because it's just something that happened in real life, Marina Keegan passed away back in 2012 in a car accident. She had just graduated magna cum laude from Yale and wanted to be a writer, on her way moving to New York City to pursue that. I'm not sure if they're fiction or nonfiction, honestly, but some of her essays and short stories, I've just heard wonderful things about this. If you guys haven't heard, Emma Watson is having a book club, and I think I saw this is going to be one of those books, but I'm not 100% sure. Then we have the only book out of all of these that I previously read, and it is a bit rare for me to buy books I've already read, but that's just a testament to how much I like this, and that is You by Carolyn Kepnes. I'm not going to talk about this, I already have a review of it, you guys know how much I love it. Then we have another book that Well Done Books recommended. Let me know if you guys also just whip out your Goodreads whenever he starts talking about books he likes, but you guys know I was a psych undergrad, and right now I'm in grad school for a specific area of psychology, but I picked up The Empathy Exams by Leslie Jamison. I was a bit confused by this because she's not a psychologist, so I'm not sure how this works, but these are short essays, I believe, nonfiction on empathy. I love anything to do with personality psych. I've been wanting to read more psychology nonfiction, so really excited about this. This next book I have not seen talked a lot about on BookTube, but outside of BookTube I've just heard really fun things about this, and that is The Almost Nearly Perfect People, Behind the Myth of the Scandinavian Utopia by Michael Booth. So let me know if you guys also have this perception. But within the US we have this, I think, kind of idealized view of the lifestyle and the way that people live within the different Scandinavian countries. You guys know I love to travel. I've never been to any Scandinavian countries before, but excited to get into this. And then these final books I found out about from, I think it's Brittany over at Under the Radar Books. I'll link her channel down below. If I mention any booktubers, I'll link their channels. But these both just seemed right up my alley. So first we have Bones and All by Camille de Anglis. But the cover says that you'll be captivated by the sympathetic female killer who ups the ante in every imaginable way. So obviously I haven't read this, so this isn't a spoiler. I'm not exactly sure what this is about, but I'm not sure if she's necessarily a cannibal or a vampire or a zombie, but in some way this woman has no choice but to eat other people. And I've heard that this is dark and twisted and just very fun, but I also haven't heard really anybody besides Brittany check this out, so I always like kind of finding hidden gems and then going ahead and sharing them with you guys. And then the final book is In the Meantime by Paul Tremblay. Now honestly, if I had seen this in a bookstore and walked past it, I would have just kept on walking because like, I don't know if it's coming across, but it's like glitter and pink. I would expect this to be similar to say Gossip Girl just based on the cover, but this is actually a set of very dark short stories. The back says a history teacher begins his unorthodox senior course with clips from an ominous surveillance video. A girl with a second head that changes into different historical and fictional entities tries to find her father. A once awkward teen holes up in a kitty-themed amusement park after the end of the world. So really weird, out there, strange, dark short stories. One of the quotes on the cover says, "In the meantime is a formidable collection as disquieting as it is beautiful." So this seems incredibly, incredibly unique. So that was my book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely will not be doing another book haul for a very long time, mainly because I just don't have a ton of time to read anymore as it is, but this is one of those few times where I have no idea where to begin with any of these books here. So please let me know which book out of all of these you're most interested in seeing me go ahead and review. And of course, go ahead and check out my review of Eileen, which will hopefully be up in about a week or so, and I'll see you guys soon.